So, joined today by Cody Durden out of the UFC's Flyweight division. Cody, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain.
Well, you might be able to complain about something. So, I believe you're injured at the minute. Is it an ACL injury that you've got?
Yeah, I tore my ACL December 19th in the Jimmy Flick fight, and I got surgery January 5th. So I'm about 2.5 months into recovery, and everything's going well, man. I met with my doctor last week, and he said I'm about a month ahead of schedule, so looking pretty good as of now.
Good stuff. Well, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about, actually, was whether it happened in the fight, because I did notice a little bit at the end of the fight. I saw you maybe shaking your leg out or something, but I didn't really think much of it. I assumed that you might have actually done the injury in training. So whenabouts in the fight did that happen?
I felt the pain when I caught his kick, and I C-stepped to the left, and then I took his back, and when I went to go lift, when I hipped in, I felt a pain in my right leg, but I didn't think much about it, I guess because of the adrenaline going on. And then when he kicked me in the leg, and I returned to kick, planted, and I felt my leg give out, and that's when I knew. I was like, oh man, something's wrong, And I've been here before, I've had 2 ACL surgeries on my left leg. So I knew it was bad.
Oh man. So how frustrating is that? Because obviously you're pretty new to the UFC. I had a little bit of a rough start, which we'll get into, but how frustrating is it to finally make it to the big stage, get where you want to be, and then a big setback like this? How are you feeling about that?
At first, I was upset, and I was just looking for the answer why, but now it's not about finding out why. It's about surviving it and moving forward. And
so what sort of weight do you walk around at? Because obviously you're fighting at the 125-pound division. How are you able to sort of stay in shape and keep close to your weight with an injury like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, not being able to do as much cardio as I'm used to, not being able to wrestle and run. I've gained, I weigh 152 right now, and I used to walk 143. But, my schedule every morning I wake up, I'm at the gym by 9. I do 9 to 10. I lift weights, and then I do my physical therapy 10:30 to 11:30. And I try to get, 30 to 45 minutes of cardio in, just daily routine, man.
So you're pretty confident that when you do return, it will be at the flyweight division again, or would you possibly consider a bantamweight move?
No, man. I made flyweight twice in a row, and that was my first time making it in 3 years. So I'm pretty confident I can make it again. I've gained weight because I'm just lifting weights right now, but there's no doubt about it, I'll come back stronger though. That's for sure. Once I start getting on the wrestling mat and start doing the MMA practices again, the weight will go back down.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, I'm going to take a quick jump back then before we look forward. Obviously, you're 2 fights deep into UFC career at the minute. The first one, I believe, was on pretty short notice. Was it just a few days on that one? Could you tell me a little bit about how that came about and the process of that sort of decision and getting into the UFC?
Yeah, I made my debut August 1st, 2020. But 2 weeks before that, I had a fight July 18th. I TKO'd him in 1 minute and 20 seconds. And then, I took a week off like I normally do. And I was on the way back to the gym, and I got a phone call from first round management, Malky Kawa. And, he was like, hey, man, what are you doing? And I was like, just headed to the gym. And then he said, all right, well, when you get to the gym, tell Diego you're officially a UFC fighter on a 4-fight contract. Still. I was like, yes. I was so excited, And then he said, your next fight's next Saturday, though. And then I paused. I thought about all the beer I've been drinking and all the bad stuff I've been eating, and I just said, fuck it, let's do it. And so I got a draw on 6-day notice, and it was a good performance, man. I was a plus 300 to lose that fight. And, I got a draw. So.
Yeah, no, it was a great performance. Obviously, that 10-8 in the first round looked like you were really close to finishing him, and then maybe just looked like that the cardio, the late replacement, just let you down a little bit. But so, do you maybe regret the circumstances a little bit? Because, like you say, it was a great performance. It just maybe was a cardio thing a little bit where you couldn't quite put it on like you could in the first round in sort of the second and third. So, do you regret the circumstances a little bit and wish you had a full camp for the first one, or do you just think it is what it is?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Chris Gutierrez is a hell of a fighter. He just beat the hell out of his last opponent, Andre Ul. And man, I thought it was a pretty good performance. 25er, I'm a natural 125er. I walk around at 143 when I'm training, so I didn't hardly have to cut any weight, and I had a solid performance against the top bantamweight. So
yeah. So, and then obviously your second fight, a little bit of, bad luck's probably not the right word, but sort of unfortunate because you looked even better than your first fight. Like you say, the first one was a great performance. You were looking even better in your second one. Bisping, who was commentating, was really high on you. They obviously spoke about the grappling, said you reminded him a little bit of Khabib in that sort of early takedown transition onto the back. And then on the feet, you look great as well. But then, as things happen at the top level, you got caught in a submission. How did you just sort of feel about that fight? You had a bit more time to prepare. You looked really good. And then, like you say, you got caught, which is unfortunate. How did you feel about that fight?
Well, I mean, I thought it was a good performance leading up to, how it finished. But it's not about how you start, a fight out. It's about how you finish it. And I think, that whole month was a disaster. November, December, I had a good training camp, which means I learned a lot, but also I broke my toe in November. I didn't tell no one about that. And then we get down there and we're supposed to fight December 5th, and I freaking get pink eye. We flew down there Tuesday, and on Wednesday I woke up and my eye was like kind of swollen, and I didn't know what was going on. So we called the UFC doctor, and he prescribed me some eye drops and stuff. And, we did everything we could leading up to Saturday, but my eye was just, I couldn't really see out of it. And so they pulled it. I did everything I could to fight that night, but the UFC doctor just wouldn't clear me to fight. So, yeah, I mean, it was horrible. And then my flight got delayed to come back home because the plane window broke. It was just, man, I had one thing after another happening, at the end of the year. But, I show up, I fought, I show up despite how things are going for me. I fight. In 2019, I think I had 4 or 5 fights. 2020, I had 6 fights in 2019. I had 4 fights in 2020. I show up and I fight.
So does it put, like you say, you've got a pretty relaxed attitude towards it. So does it maybe put a little bit of a chip on your shoulder when you think about your career so far? Because it doesn't really seem, you know what MMA fans are like. They only care about, whether you've beat somebody or whether you've lost. So do you feel like it's a bit frustrating and not really indicative of your skill set and what you're capable of? Having a little bit of a delay before that first UFC win. It's clear to see you've got the skills. Like you say, you just had a lot of bad fortune. Does that put a bit of a chip on your shoulder going into your next fight, or do you not really pay attention to that sort of thing?
It does, man. It does. I feel like my back's against the wall and I have so much to prove, and I haven't really been able to show it yet, so it really makes me train harder, honestly. It helps me get out of bed in the morning when I think about, circumstances and how it turned out, for sure.
So in terms of the comeback then, I think you mentioned that it was still maybe a few months away. But, what do you sort of see from that, and how much of the decision making are you involved in terms of your opponent? Do you kind of sit down and really try and plan with your management, okay, here's maybe some matchups that we want, or do you just sort of play the waiting game, get healthy, and then whoever the UFC wants you to fight, you'll take on?
Yeah, man. I mean, I signed up for the UFC and I signed the contract, a 4-fight contract to fight the best guys in the world. You know, my management just sends me the name basically. And I say, yeah, you know, I don't feel like I have a choice in who I fight. But throughout my career, you know, I've been known to call my shots and call out opponents. And come, you know, July, when I get back on the mat, get back in fight shape, and hopefully I can get in there September, October, and start calling my shots.
Mm. So was it always your plan to be in the flyweight division of the UFC? Because one thing that was a bit of a worry in the past was maybe that they would get rid of the division. You know, Dana White spoke about that. He considered it, but then the changes Nick Maynard made to just try and sort of spice things up a little bit. You know, they ended up keeping it and now it's thriving. But was that ever a worry for you that they would get rid of the division?
Yeah, man. When I heard about it back in the day, you know, I was pissed, you know, because you know, I've always fought at 135 because I'm not a big fan of cutting weight. But then, you know, you go to American Top Team, Coconut Creek, and you train with the highest bantamweights there is. And, you know, you start questioning yourself like, man, these guys got 15 pounds on you or more, you know. And so I knew that the flyweight division was going to be my home.
Mm. So obviously the division at the minute, probably looking the most exciting that it might have ever looked. We've got quite a new champion, but, you know, everybody's really getting excited about him. So how do you feel about the division at the minute? And is there anybody you've really got your eye on to think, right, you know, get healthy, get some fights under my belt, and then I'd really like to, you know, fight some of these guys? Is there anyone in your mind that you'd like to have a matchup with?
Man, I just want to get a win, bro. That's my goal. You know, I just need to and really prove to myself and everyone else that I have what it takes to, you know, thrive in the UFC. And once I get that win and I get on the mic, you know, you'll see a big difference.
Yeah. Well, one last one I'll leave you with then, just a little bit away from yourself. Not sure how much you follow your division, how much of a close eye you're keeping it, but seems likely that we've got a rematch coming up for the title, which is obviously something that you want to eventually work your way towards. The first one being a draw. How do you see the second fight going between Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo?
I think Figueiredo is gonna come out on top this fight. You know, he was in the hospital. I heard, you know, rumor has it, hospital the night before the fight with stomach injuries, and you know, for him to show up and still fight is quite amazing. You know, I just think you know, he's going to come back with a better game plan, and he knows that Moreno is durable and Moreno can take him down. And so hopefully, you know, if he's smart, he's working his takedown defense and a little bit better defense rather than offense, because everybody knows that, you know, he's got a huge right hand. You know, he just got to get a little better as a defensive fighter.
Absolutely. Well, good stuff. I think that's pretty much all we've got for you today. Obviously, like I said, looking at your fight so far, we can see that the skills are there. Really looking forward to seeing you fight again. You know, it's such a shame about the ACL injury. Talk about bad timing, and by what you're saying, pretty much sounds like you're a bit cursed. So probably wouldn't want to be getting on a plane with you in case there's any more issues. But you know, want to wish you all the best. Can't wait to see you in there. Hopefully, get, you know, healthy enough for a fight soon and see who you're matched up against. And, you know, I can see you're not only sticking around for a long time, but being a real contender in that division. So best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, man. You know, life has its ups and downs, and, you know, I'm not necessarily cursed. It was just that bad timing, you know. You know, sometimes you're going up, sometimes you're going down, and that's just life throwing adversity at you. You know, as long as you stay consistent and stay to the course and truly believe in yourself, then it'll all come to fruition.
Yeah, it's good. Seems like you got a good head on your shoulders. You know, you seem like, despite everything that would maybe frustrate you, you seem focused on the task at hand, which is good. And obviously that fighter mentality. So got all the confidence that we'll see you back soon and better than ever. So looking forward to it.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll catch up soon.
All right, see you.
Cheers.